Today, Trump just made 2 deals that reveal a greater plan. ChatGPT just got more interesting, and finally, Apple bent the knee to Japan. Find out how and so much more in today's episode of Control. TikTok has finally given up. ByteDance has signed the binding agreements to hand the keys over to America. Oracle and a group of US investors will own 80% of TikTok America, while ByteDance keeps 20%. The deal is set to close on January 22nd next year, but this started back in 2020, when TikTok went from an entertainment and social platform to a national security threat overnight. Although it did help Trump win his election campaign, and he is fairly busy. Trump Media and Technology has just announced a $6 billion deal with a nuclear fusion company. They're backed by Google. And because it's the AI age, energy is essential, and so is influence. So if Trump can power AI and the social platform, in my opinion, that's a sweet deal for him. That's if they don't make us start seeing more of him and AI slop. But what do you think? And the control doesn't stop there, because OpenAI just launched its own app store inside ChatGPT. Developers can now submit apps directly into their app, not just the usual big name partners, everyone. But this isn't about helping our developers, it's about building out an ecosystem, one where you don't leave the chat, you don't open another app. And that strategy is already working. ChatGPT has made $3 billion in global consumer spending, mostly from subscriptions, in just 31 months, which makes it one of the fastest growing consumer apps ever. But subscription is just a warm-up. Imagine AI-powered shoppings, AI-powered bookings, AI-powered everything, all inside one interface, all controlled by one company. Now, don't get me wrong, AI still hasn't proven a real return on investment. But this kind of growth is a signal. The question is it a meaningful one? But let's control our time and get into the quick news. A Florida middle school entered into lockdown after an AI-powered gun detection system, Zero Eyes, flagged a student's clarinet as a firearm. Not shocked there. Just like I'm not shocked that Instacart is under scrutiny from the US FTC over alleged pricing manipulations linked to its AI-driven pricing too. Also, the US government has launched a review that could allow Nvidia to resume sales of its H200 chips while imposing a 25% fee on those transactions. And that's it for the quick news. Let's get into our deals of the day. And they only get better. Kicking it off with the 14-inch M5 MacBook Pro, which is 14% off. But both the AirPods Pro 3 and the M4 Mac Mini 16GB versions are 20% off. Or you could pick up an M4 MacBook Air, which is 25% off. And if you love gaming, this 32-inch Asus 4K OLED gaming monitor is 31% off. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 9 is 36% off. And finally, the Sony XM5 is at a whopping 52% off. Sounds great, right? But let's get back into this game of control, because it looks like Apple just lost the round. Apple announced to allow alternative app stores in iOS in Japan, meaning developers can now process payments outside of Apple's system. Not because Apple found empathy, but because Japan's Mobile Software Competition Act says they have to. Then the law went into full effect this week. So naturally, one day later, Outstore launches in Japan, which means apps can exist on iPhones without Apple's blessing. Mostly. But Apple still takes a cut on its own App Store, a 21% cut. Which is why Epic Games says Fortnite won't return on iOS in Japan. And now for something less dystopian. Riot Games has confirmed a massive update for League of Legends. It's coming in 2027. No, it's not a League of Legends 2. Riot says this is a full overhaul of the existing game. Basically the biggest update since the mid-2010s. The goal is simple. Modernize the game, bring in new players, and remind the rest of us why we're still there. The timeline is vague, but is expected to drop in the competitive off-season, which means late November to early January. So don't worry, you still have time to quit and come back anyway. Someone here might actually lose control. Developers at Naughty Dog have reportedly been working mandatory overtime for 7 straight weeks to finish an internal demo of Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Overtime started in October at least 8 hours a week, all to prepare a demo for Sony, because the deadlines were missed and now they're catching up. This is what the industry calls a crunch. And if history has taught us anything, it's that crunch doesn't disappear. It waits until you have an exam the next morning and have to crunch a whole syllabus in your brain in one night. And that's it for today's tech news. I hope you got updated, and you definitely do not want to miss the next episode. You do want to stay updated, right?